to our next session, for which the topic would be the future of drones and regulation in India. And for that, I would like to invite Shri Kumar Ankur, Advocate, Supreme Court of India, on the stage. Let's have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Over to you, sir.
Hello. So I'll start. I'll just take a minute.
All right, so I request everyone to kindly be seated for the next session as we are going to proceed with the next one.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before starting, I will take a pause and thank the organizers of Drone Expo and Dr. Pranay Kumar and Mr. Kaul for giving me this opportunity to speak on the topic future regulation of drone policy in India. So I'm absolutely delighted to be the part of this Drone Expo before the august presence of people who are from the different facets of drone industry, which includes drone experts, manufacturers, and people who are the pioneers of drone industry. So before going ahead with my discussion, I would like to ask everyone a question that why do we require law or regulation? What is law? What does law do? And the fundamental premise of law. If anyone can answer me that question. Sir, utter chaos. Yes, yes. That is one aspect. Anyone else? See, why do we require law? Law ultimately sets out parameters for relationship of individuals, institutions, the relationship between individual and the state, between communities and the state, the relationship between dealing with each other in the terms of commerce.
Check, check.
So, all societal interpersonal relationships is governed by law and regulation. Looking at the minute details, relationship between father and son, children, all are being governed by law and regulations. Because every aspect of human activity is attempted to be regulated for peace and security. If there is no law or regulation, then there will be utter chaos, as Sir rightly pointed out. Because behind every law is the human conduct. Regulation of human conduct is very necessary. The same applies to drone, and that's why we need to have a regulation of drones in India. Today, we stand at the precipice of new era in aviation, defined by innovation, efficiency, and unparalleled possibilities. Drones or unmanned aerial vehicles have emerged as a pivotal tool across various sectors from agriculture, disaster management, logistics to surveillance. However, with great potential comes great responsibility. With the rapid evolution of the drone technology, including artificial intelligence integration and automation calls for adaptive regulation. What worked yesterday may not work today. That's why we need to have evolving policies for the drone industry. India's journey with the drone regulation began in the earnest year with the introduction of CAR, Civil Aviation Requirement in 2016. Initially, it was restrictive. These regulations aimed to mitigate safety and security risk. Then there were various developments. Recently, the introduction of drone rules in 2021 marked a significant shift. These rules aim to simplify the processes of obtaining license, promoting innovation and accessibility. The establishment of the Digital Sky platform has also streamlined registration and compliance. Now, we talk about the Indian drone policy, which has been categorized into 7 heads. The first one being the simplified approval process. The policy introduces a streamlined process for obtaining permissions to operate drones, including Digital Sky platform, an online platform that facilitates registration, licensing, and approvals. This reduces bureaucratic hurdles and accelerates the deployment of drone technology in India. The next one is everyone is aware of is characterization and compliance. Drones are classified into different groups based on their weight and intended use. Different regulations apply to commercial, government, and recreational drones, ensuring that the rules are appropriate for each type of operations. The next one talks about the operational guidelines. These policy clearly sets out operational guidelines for drone flights, including restrictions on certain areas like near airports, VIP installations, military installations, and sensitive zones. This helps prevent accidents and maintains airspace safety. Then moving on to the fourth one is safety and security. Emphasis is placed on safety measures such as mandatory drone operator training, certification, and adherence to the technical standards. The policy includes provision for geofencing to prevent drones from entering restricted areas from from, for real-time tracking to monitor compliance. It's very important. Then what has been the talk of the town is the data privacy, which I heard a lot of, there were a lot of prolific speakers, they have mentioned all these. The policy addresses concerns related to data privacy, mandates that drone operators ensure protection of personal data captured during flights. This is crucial in maintaining public trust and addressing privacy policies. And another feature is innovation and growth. The policy addresses concerns related to data privacy, mandates the crucial in maintaining it was innovation and growth by supporting research and development, encouraging investment in drone technology. The policy aims to foster innovation. This is the growth of, it also supports the growth of new industries and services such as agriculture, logistics, and surveillance, and the last part being requirement of remote pilot license and maintenance checks. So, what has been the legal stand of drones in India? As you all must be aware that drones market stands at 23.6 million US dollars in 2023 and is projected to grow at a CAGR rate of 7.55% between 2023 to 2028. Heeding to the exceptional demand and applications of drone in public and private sectors, the Government of India and state governments had made several rules and regulations for this revolutionary technology, safe and ethical use. The Government of India is currently regulates drone operation. It is legal to operate drones, also known as unmanned aerial vehicles, in India for Indian citizens. The Ministry of Civil Aviation issued a more liberalized drone policy on 26 August 2021 with a broader scope as per the feedback, rising industry and demand, and more. The new drone policy was replaced in US rules the new drone policy replaced the US rules 2021. Why do we need a dynamic evolving regulation? Because the regulatory framework must be flexible enough to accommodate the diverse application without stifling innovation. So, as per me, there were certain categories in which I have put it down, the future directions of drone regulation, what it should be. The first being adaptive regulatory framework. It says future regulation should be dynamic, allowing for rapid adjustments as technology evolves. This may involve the use of pilot projects and regulatory sandboxes to test the new concepts. It is very important to take a look at the Aircraft Act and rules, critically examine how much of this framework is indeed applicable to the current drone technology. Before going ahead with this presentation, I happened to speak with a sir, he was a brigadier and a veteran also, and we discussed the same thing about the policy should be adaptive. The next one is the stakeholders engagement. Engaging various stakeholders, industry leaders, academia, government bodies, and the public in the regulatory process will ensure that diverse perspectives are considered. It is not only when closely working with the industry that regulators can truly grapple with the both collective security concern posed by the technology as well as the concerns over individual rights that may come up. The third one is the international collaboration. As drones operate across borders, international cooperation on standards and best practices will be essential for effective regulation. Like what we have, the Indian drone policy have taken some points from the American drone policy and the European drone policy. Then the utmost factor that would shape the future of drones would be training and education. Investing in education and training programs for drone pilots and operators will ensure adherence to the regulations and promote safety practices. And the last one being, the government should be less of a regulator and more of a facilitator. As the UAV operation technology or drones has grown exponentially in market terms and scientifically, regulators necessarily have to work with the new industry and understand the full potential of the solutions that they are deploying on the ground. So, as per me, in conclusion, the future of drone regulation in India is bright, but it requires collaboration, foresight, and adaptability. By embracing innovation while ensuring safety and privacy, we can unlock the full potential of drones. I urge policymakers, industry leaders, and citizens to work together to shape a regulatory environment that not only facilitates growth but also prioritizes safety and ethical standards. Let us be proactive in our approach, fostering a future where drones soar high, enhancing our lives while keeping our skies safe. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, please ask a question. All questions are welcomed. What? The first point of the policy, adaptive regulatory frameworks. Yeah. Because there were so many speakers, I think they have covered all these topics while they were discussing. So, when you dwell upon, this is a very extensive topic. So, just
Well, if I may add,
yes, you may ask a question.
I'm a UTM expert and air traffic expert. I'm a UTM expert and air traffic expert, having done a lot of research into the drone field also. Okay, from 2018 to till 2021, the government has put out the draft policy, and it took 3 years for them to issue it. And thereafter came the UTM policy. See, essentially, what are the things we are planning to regulate with the laws? One is the safety of the platform,
Yes.
the safety of the people operating it or people who are in the vicinity of that, and third one is national security. So you need to have the platform always being monitored, and the risk mitigation with regard to avoiding collision with others can be transferred to the individual platforms depending upon the the equipment they are carrying. But without having these kind of safety provisions, you cannot allow anybody and everybody to get into the air. That is very important.
That is why education
Yeah,
is important.
so that is why, presently our strength of drones is just about 16,000. Okay, when we compare the number of drones with respect to China, which has got 16 lakhs drones. So the proliferation of drones is going to happen in the coming years. So we need to be prepared for that, and the regulation of the government should accommodate to the increasing number of drones for a safe operation without compromising national security. You know, this green zone, yellow zone, and red zone. The geofencing is only applicable to the red zone, whereas you can't completely shift the responsibility of safeguarding the interest of the platforms and others to the operators themselves. We have to ensure that the government also takes control of these operations to ensure that nothing untoward happens. You know, rogue elements and anti-national elements, etc., using this platform. So it has to be prohibitive as it is, at the same time it has to be facilitating.
I think
So,
they'll come up with some directions.
anyway,
And,
we are in the process of writing something, and which I'll send it to the government
you should
also.
definitely write to the government.
Yes.
See, these are only nothing has concrete has come up. The government is going to take time. I think with time and with experience, they'll draft something which is very important.
No, they have also brought out two more, CAs now in
CR
2020.
rules.
The CRs they have brought out in
The new
2023.
drone rules have come
Yes,
in, and the amendment rules
already,
also come
already
in.
come up. So it is an evolutionary process, and it will happen.
Yeah, it's a very dynamic
Yeah,
field.
yes. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Thank you for the question.
Thank you so much for some aspect of law or regulations which you are not aware, because we are technical people, and I'm thankful to you for
Oh,
giving us a very broad outlook of the law
oh,
regulations.
so kind of you.
I want one small thing. Uh, See, you are a Supreme Court advocate. I understand a Supreme Court advocate, right? You are working with Supreme Court
Yes, sir.
yourself. You're with Supreme Court.
I'm an advocate on record in Supreme Court.
So I want to know what happens when drone collides with a human being or a property and ground, under which this thing gets covered.
If it's see what happens when the drone would collide with an individual, it would definitely come under law of tort. Injuries being caused. Then now the new laws have been set in, the BNSSL, the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, and other. Though there'll be, I would say, actions. When there's an action, there's a reaction. So what will happen is that if the drone collides with an individual, and like what happens when you're driving a car, Motor Vehicles Act, the same would apply with time with the drone. I think the drone industry also. They would come with some policies that something like suppose an accident happens, then who will be held responsible? Like what we have, the Motor Vehicles Act. Then there are sections of IPC which are being attracted. That the same would also apply, because drone is nothing new. It's a kind of it's a vehicle, unmanned vehicle. So I would think that there'll be government will come with policies, and it will be under the laws, IPC and criminal
I
laws.
just want to add, maybe already aircraft rules 1930 is there. They may be expanded to cover the unmanned vehicles and drones.
I think
Probably that will be the better one.
with time, that will be with time. That will be.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure. Thank you for being a lovely audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your valuable time, sir.